My name's Annie. I'm actually originally from Belgium. I've lived here for 23 years now. So we moved here when I was 7. Currently a student, so that's really fun. Time number 5. This time it'll go, I swear. Hoping to shift into actually a double degree in computer science and linguistics, actually, to do computational linguistics, which is like programming AI and working with AI and that kind of fun stuff. So I've kind of struggled with depression and anxiety and all that kind of fun stuff since I was 14, is the longest that I can remember. When I realized I needed to get help, I actually had kind of a pretty big mental breakdown. I was taking a shower, and then at some point I remember my boyfriend coming in, because I guess I'd been in there a really long time. I had sat down in the shower, couldn't remember doing that, and I was just crying. So like he pulled me out of the shower, we got me dried off, and I went to the hospital, and they had me there on observation for a few hours overnight and that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what, this is too far. Like, I can't, like, I'm usually pretty good at finding my line of like, I don't want my life to end. I just want my problems to end. And at a certain point, that line got really, really hard to see. So it's like, it's time to get some help. And I've kind of been in and out of counseling, and it's never really worked for me. And I was actually honestly kind of at the point of giving up on counseling, because I'm like, hey, this obviously isn't working for me. I've tried it, 5, 6, 7 times, and it just wasn't working. But I was like, you know what? One more shot. I have a friend that's helping me pay for the counseling. So like, we'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. And I'm really, really glad I did, actually. I realized like all these symptoms I had was not just depression and not just anxiety. It was actually a bit of ADHD thrown in there. And I had, terrible like impulse control problems and emotional control problems, and just trying to stay focused and stay at a job and just, generally be happy in my day-to-day life. I was just angry all the time, and that's not a fun way to live. The group program was super helpful in the way that it was kind of nice, at least at the very beginning, to see like, okay, a lot of people that you would normally look at and see like, oh, well, they obviously have their lives together. There's no problem here. And then hearing them talk about, these issues that they have that are so very similar, if not the exact same as your own, and kind of like, you're not alone, but it's nice to see the physical act or the physical display that you're not on your own, that, these people do struggle with you. And there was a couple exercises in there that really just kind of, for lack of a better word, it was kind of like a punch in the face, but in the best way possible, that you're like, oh, well, that's not good. I really need to think about what I'm doing here. And actually, one memorable moment that really kind of started turning things around for me was actually in the group session. And we were doing an exercise where you had to write these things that you think about yourself, these mean things that you think about yourself. And you would get paired off in a group with somebody else, and you'd give them your list of mean things that you say about yourself. And you could do it either like, make it personal. So have them say these things as if they were insulting you, or just repeating what you wrote down. But you had to say these mean things to these other people. And for a lot of us, we're like, this is so mean. Like, this is really difficult to do. And you kind of have that moment of like, why is it so mean for me to do this to another person, but so okay for me to do this to myself? The questionnaire before each session was pretty helpful, honestly, especially for the individual counseling, because my counselor would actually show kind of where on the graph that I was trending. So I'd see like, okay, I think, I dropped a little bit this week. My stress is a little bit better this week. And then she showed me the graph, and it was actually just like a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. And it's like, oh, wow, like it's nice seeing your progress in a very like physical way, if that makes sense. Like, it's a very visual, like, wow, I really am doing better. And it really just kind of motivates you. I feel very different about myself in the sense of like, before I would look in the mirror, I would, put on something I thought was cute, and I'd look and I'd be like, oof, that's not great. Like, guess it's going to be, hair up in a bun, baggy hoodie and whatever else. And and that kind of stuff. And now I can kind of look in the mirror and go, you know what? It's not perfect, but I think I look cute. And if somebody else doesn't think that, well, it sucks for them. Someone told me once, it's like everybody has a favorite food and everyone has a food they hate. So if you look in the mirror and you see, for me personally, I hate mushrooms. So you look in the mirror and you see a mushroom. And you're like, ugh, mushrooms are disgusting. There's a lot of people out there in the world love mushrooms. Best food on the world. Like you're not your own type, but you're somebody's type. And you can't be everything for everyone. And I find myself thinking a lot less about what I'm saying in a conversation, like a lot less, what's the word? Like analyzing every sentence before I say it. I just kind of say it. And if, I'm okay with if people don't like it, that's all right. I'm not everybody's cup of tea and that's okay. Whereas before that really would have been like, everybody has to like me and I have to make sure I say the same thing. And now it's, it's a lot more relaxing to be sociable and to be out in the world. If you're in a bad position like I was, just keep trying. It's like clothes. It's not always going to be a perfect fit. It might look cute on the rack, but it's not going to look cute on you or whatever. But keep trying. Honestly, I've been through so many counselors and I've never done a group therapy before, but it's kind of like, keep trying, dive in. Don't be scared to tell people like, hey, this isn't working. I want to try somebody new. Like, they don't take it personally. It's like I was saying earlier, not everybody is everybody's cup of tea, but definitely keep trying. It's worth it. I never thought I would get to this point in my life. Now I'm here. Of course, there's always more growth that you can do, but I've already come leaps and bounds in half a year, maybe 3/4 of a year. Like, it's crazy. Just do it.